You're listening to the amazing Doc Green radio show, the rebellious voice of liberty.
Oh, yeah, the doctor's in. And not only is the doctor in, but I have Chris Carmona in. And Chris Carmona is running for the Harris County Republican Party chair. But here's the call we've been waiting for, guys. We've been waiting for Colonel Dave Grossman. And Colonel Dave Grossman, come on in here. You are my hero.
Hello, Doc. I'm glad to be on board with you and your listeners, brother.
Well, first of all, I got to tell you, a friend of mine who was the firearms instructor for the DEA gave me your set of videos, The Bulletproof Mind. And that is such an incredible set of videos. I think anyone out there, if you're a shooter, if you carry every day, you have to watch that series.
Oh, that's awful kind of you, Doc. Today we obviously are focused on what happened yesterday, and armed people ready to respond is part of the answer. But we're going to be with you for a little bit today. Can we kind of lay a foundation? We're kind of up front.
Colonel Dave Grossman, the floor is yours.
All right. Well, here's the thing. Number one, medical technology is holding down the murder rate. A wound that 9 out of 10 times would have killed you in World War II. On the modern battlefield, 9 out of 10 times you survive the same wound, and the same thing is true in our streets. Now, that's like, of course, flat forehead syndrome, right? But what that means is the number of murdered people completely underrepresents the problem. Now, I train every federal agency. I train cops in all 50 states, but I also speak at the CJ programs as a guest instructor for many criminal justice programs. And the very foundation of criminal justice is flawed because we look at the murder rate. A major UMass Harvard study tells us if we had 1970s medical technology, the murder rate would be at least 4 times what it is.
Wow.
So the media reports 500 dead in Chicago. It's a lie. It's a liable mission. Multiply that number and have at least 2,000. That somebody would have died with 1970s technology. So
wow.
Year after year, for a decade and a half, every year, the number of people murdered has been coming down. Population's up, number of people murdered is down because of medical technology. Then in 2015, we had 1,700 Americans murdered the year before. That number should be coming down. In 2016, if it had stayed the same, it would have been bad. But in 2016, we had 1,300 more murdered than the year before, and that's compound interest. There is an explosion of violence across our civilization. Latin America is out of control. Mexico is at war with the cartels. Mexico is a war zone. And in the list of the top 14, when the top 20 most violent nations, Mexico is number 14. There was a time you pop down to Juarez, you'd get a nice meal, do a little shopping. Ain't nobody popping down to Juarez for a meal and shopping no more. All of Latin America is a war zone.
I know that's right.
And the same thing coming our way. So what that means to us is that there's something happening. That the school massacres, this massacre, and they're not shooting. Shooting is not a crime. Please, never call a criminal a shooter. Never call a horrible massacre a shooting. It's anti-gun propaganda coming out of our mouth. Shootings are lawful acts. Shooters are good people, not criminals. So every time we use that term, we're sucked into an anti-gun mindset. But the massacre in that school in Florida yesterday is almost exactly identical to a massacre that happened in 2002 in Germany. 17 dead, 19-year-old high school dropout. Comes back to school, murders 17, including himself. So it's Germany. Not only has Germany got European gun laws, Germany has some of the strictest gun laws in Europe. And they didn't even slow this guy down. The Mandalay Bay massacre, that sick, evil bastard who murdered 58 people in Las Vegas. But the record solo gun massacre, the greatest body count, the most horrendous massacre by a single individual with a firearm was in Norway, in a youth camp. 69 dead in a youth camp in Norway, and their European gun laws didn't even slow him down. If a 19-year-old high school dropout in Germany could get a gun, anybody in America could get a gun. The politicians are selling us garbage to say that gun laws could prevent these crimes. What we need to do is 2 things. Number one, and my newest book is Assassination Generation. Assassination Generation just came out from a year ago.
Oh, yeah.
Will Brown, one of the largest publishers on the planet. Terribly important book. All the stuff I just told you is outlined there. The school massacres never happened in human history, and now they're everywhere. That Germany had the worst 2 until recently. Three of them happen in Finland. This is a worldwide phenomenon, and the new factor is the sick movies and the sick video games, and especially those sick games. We know how to train military and law enforcement to kill. With pop-up targets, photorealistic targets, simulators, like a pilot in a flight simulator, like a kid in a fire drill. Modern training makes killing a conditioned response. People point to some horrible crime, Doc. They say, oh, yeah, look at that. That proves we're all killers. Now, come on, think like a scientist. That's an outlier. You give me a big enough population, I'll give you every possible outlier. You explain to me the millions and millions and millions of our citizens who did not commit a mass murder. 330 million Americans bounce off each other every day. Divorce, infidelity, layoffs, traffic accidents, and 99% of our citizens will never kill a single person or even try to. Explain that. Inside most healthy members is a powerful resistance against killing your own kind, except under extreme provocation. But sociopaths don't have that resistance. The military and law enforcement know that healthy people have to be trained to kill. We intentionally apply B.F. Skinner, operant conditioning. The target pops up, you hit it, it drops. Stimulus response. But the video games are doing the exact same thing to our kids. And again, in my book, Assassination Generation, every major industrialized nation I get data on regulates children's access to video games. The state of California overwhelmingly passed regulation regulating. I'm not a big guy on laws, but they wouldn't buckle their baby in their car seat if it wasn't the law. If you'd have told my mom to buckle those 5 kids up, she said it wasn't possible. It became the law, it got done. So the state of California, home of Hollywood, home of Silicon Valley, overwhelmingly votes to regulate children's access to the violent video games like every other major nation on the planet. And the video game industry fought them all the way to the Supreme Court. They said we have a constitutional First Amendment right to sell these games to any child at any age. You cannot stop us. You cannot regulate us in any way, shape, or form. The state of California sent a couple of junior lawyers. The video game industry sent the most amazing team of Supreme Court lawyers that money could buy. One video game, Grand Theft Auto 5, the year it came out, made more money than the entire global music industry.
Wow.
This industry is horrendously wealthy. One video game made more money than every rock concert on the planet, every musician, every CD, every download on the planet. And they conned 7 Supreme Court justices, never played Pong in their life, to overturn the California law. But 2 Supreme Court justices, Clarence Thomas and Stephen Breyer, our most conservative, most liberal justice, both dissented. And what they had to say is terribly important. Just understand this. Our entire medical community, the AMA, the APA, the American Academy of Pediatrics, Surgeon General after Surgeon General screaming from the mountainside. And what did the video game industry do? They got 82 journalism professors, media studies professors, who say there is no scientific research. They're not even freaking scientists. They're journalism professors. They're media studies professors. There is no scientific research indicating that violent video games create violence in our society. In the face of the entire medical world, it's academic malfeasance at the highest level. But they conned 7 Supreme Court justices. Right now, the new factor is not the guns. The new factor around the planet is that we have fed some sick video games to our children, and we've got to leash in this industry and protect our children. This is the new factor in the equation. Gun laws are not the answer. The sick people in Hollywood and in the video game industry, in my book, Assassination Generation, we outlined those dynamics. We show Stanford Med School, controlled double-blind medical research, replicated an entire K-12 school. Stanford Med School gives a 10-day TV turnoff curriculum, cut violence in half, cut bullying in half, and raise test scores double digits. We know the answer. We detox our kids for 10 days, the fight or flight hormones flush out of their brain. We got brain scan data coming in from across the planet. Detox the school for 10 days, cut violence in half, cut bullying in half, and raise test scores double digits. When the fight or flight hormones flush out of their brain, they're not being attacked, they're not being bullied, their world changes. So it's all in the book, Assassination Generation, and we have got to get the word out. It's not about the guns. The guns have always been there. It's not what's in their hands, it's what's in their head. And this is the new factor.
Well, what I want to know is, Colonel Dave Grossman, why are you not being called up by CNN, ABC, NBC, ABC, and MSDNC? Why are they not having you on? Because what you have just said here, this should be everywhere.
Yeah. You know, my book came out from Little Brown, one of the largest publishers in the world. Not one single review. Now, I co-authored a book with Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck contacted me. Nice guy in person, real nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
Asked me to co-author a book called Control, the truth about gun control. You know, it's not about the guns. Every gun owner should have a copy. Every gun store should have a stack from a hand them away. It was a New York Times bestseller, and not one single review, not one single mention. My book came out. The only review was in Slate magazine by some ding-dong that didn't even read the book. Because she said, well, there's scientific research that demonstrates. I spent a whole chapter talking about that bogus group of journalism professors who refute the entire medical community, and she didn't even read it. I mean, you'd think the reviewer would at least read the book before they make it. The only one. And everybody else, the way the media handles it is they just ignore it. We have got to get the word out to the conservative media. It's not about the guns. You'll never stop American criminals from getting a gun. They couldn't make it work in Germany. How do all those gun laws work in France when they're being slaughtered in that theater, slaughtered in that stadium? It's not about what's in their hand. It's about what's in their head.
Yes.
And so just all your listeners out there, help us get the word out. The book is Assassination Generation. Have you get it ordered to the local bookstores where they stock it. Go to Amazon, get a copy. Grab the ammunition there and start fighting the fight. Fight the good fight, the worthy fight. That get past this left-wing media monopoly and help us get the word out.
Well, my in-studio guest, Chris Carmona, while we're sitting here and you're talking about it, he went on Amazon and bought your book. And he's...
Well done, Chris. And I heard your interview, by the way. I wish I was there in Texas. I went to grad school at UT Austin. I'd vote for you, brother. You got me convinced.
I appreciate the support, but I mean, the book sounds amazing. The story sounds amazing, and I'm interested to read about it. So,
well, Chris is a shooter, as am I, and we're not bad guys. We're good guys. We're the guys that if there's a problem, we're going to fix it.
Absolutely.
Think about that. You know, the Boston Massacre, American Revolution, 5 dead. St. Valentine Day Massacre, 7 dead. Add up the Boston Massacre, St. Valentine Day Massacre, you still got more dead in this massacre in Florida. Why don't we call them massacres? Instead, we've got anti-gun propaganda. Every time I teach cops in all 50 states, I tell them, whenever you hear the word active shooter response, I want you to laugh at them. Tell them we'd be real busy during deer season. We're not responding to shooters. Shooters are not the problem. If we're responding to murderers, mass murderers, committing crimes as children like nothing in human history, giving us crimes as adults in our darkest nightmares we never imagined. It is a worldwide phenomenon. That hyper-violent Latin American model coming at us like a freight train. All across Europe, violent crime in Europe is doubled, tripled, quadrupled, quintupled, and nation after nation until 2003 when the Interpol stopped releasing the data. Everybody in Europe knows how to fix a problem. Stop releasing the data. As of 2003, we've got no idea how bad it is in Europe. They won't tell us. But it's in my book, Assassination Generation. Violent crime doubles, triples, quadruples, quintuples across Europe. Latin America is out of control. Jamaica is one of the top 3 most violent nations on the planet. You could not pay me enough money to take my family on vacation in Jamaica.
Oh, yeah.
Mexico is number 14. Iraq is number 9. I would rather take my family on vacation to Iraq than Mexico.
Wow.
That's the murder rate. It's coming at us like a freight train. We've held back the tide. We incarcerated 2.5 million Americans. We ran out of prisons. 40 years straight, per capita incarceration rate went up. And then in 2008, we ran out of prisons. We've medicated 30 million Americans, and it would be much worse if not for that. It's a factor in the equation. It's all in the book. But things are bad, and they're going to get a hell of a lot worse. What's that mean to you, individual reader? Carry a gun. Keep your powder dry.
Yes.
Be prepared. And these are frightening, violent times. They're going to get a hell of a lot worse. And it's not enough to carry a gun. You got to be good. You got to practice. You got to shoot.
Ooh, yeah.
And you got to be capable and competent with the tools to protect your loved ones. The difference between us and Latin America, every one of those nations, the top 20 most violent nations on the planet, they got those gun laws going to keep us so safe. What
Yeah,
makes
right.
us different from them is we are armed citizens. Arm yourself, train your children, train your community. I got two children's books out. One is the Sheepdog Kids book. Great book about mostly military and law enforcement. There's wolves out there. We need the sheepdogs to protect us. But after it came out, they said, well, can't you do one about civilians? Of course we can. Civilians are sheepdogs. We said that in the book. We'll say more. The second book is Why Mommy Carries a Gun. Go to Amazon, get a copy of the book, Why Mommy Carries a Gun. It outlines that if anybody in the family is going to carry a gun, this is what we want them to know. Stop. If you find a gun, stop, don't touch, get an adult. The 4 universal gun safety laws, the Second Amendment, our heritage. And then in the back of the book, we got awesome artists. The kids are blown away by the artwork. In the back of the book, we got famous American sheepdogs who carried a gun always. We've got the Minutemen, and we've got Davy Crockett, and we've got Annie Oakley and Sergeant York, and we've got Eleanor
Sergeant
Roosevelt,
York, one of my very favorites.
For a lifetime. You know, we've got these case studies here. Why Mommy Carries a Gun. Go to Amazon, take a look for your kids. Assassination Generation, Glenn Beck's book, Control. Get educated, get informed, and help us get the word out.
Talking with Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman, one of my heroes, and I'm so honored to have you on the show today. But you are absolutely right. Everything you've brought forward here, and quite frankly, a couple of things I had not even thought of, but my show opener today, I said the real problem here is, A, we've taught these kids that they're descended from monkeys. We've taught them that there is no God, and so therefore no judgment day. And then we refuse to arm our teachers because when seconds count, the police are minutes away.
Doc, let me talk about that. That's important. The state of Texas has got armed educators more and more every year, as you well know, with 100% success rate. I do a lot of work in Utah. I don't think there's a school left in Utah that doesn't have armed educators. Utah concealed carry in the school, the same as concealed carry in the street. Individual principals call. There's 1 or 2 people in every school they believe it's just a no-brainer should be carrying a gun. Ohio. Currently, I'm told in Ohio, over 70% of the counties in Ohio have armed educators with 100% success rate.
Woo-hoo!
There is. Don't take away rights. Give them more rights.
You're doing
Give them the right to
good.
protect your loved ones.
Yeah,
Still
no, you're doing great. I mean, you just nailed it, Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman. You nailed it.
Yeah. There's another angle on the whole equation as we put this stuff together, and it is giving the teachers the ability to protect themselves. Starts with pepper spray. I trained a school district in Alabama. I said, they're doing goofy stuff in the schools. They're putting wasp spray in every classroom. Yeah, we can't have pepper spray, but you can't stop us having wasp spray. We're going to spray the bad guy with wasp spray. Well, best I can tell, there are 2 kinds of wasp spray. One's like shooting them with a squirt gun. The other one, game over, die a cockroach. He's dead right now. Can we all agree we should not just give every teacher a gun? We're carefully selected, carefully trained educators. That's what we're doing. They're giving every teacher deadly force. Give them pepper spray. You can support it in court. And at the moment of truth, it's against the rules. Nobody's ever enforced it. At the moment of truth, you pull a can of pepper spray out of your purse, out of your coat jacket, give them a shot of pepper spray in the face. It could be a different story. We give them the tools, and it's happening nationwide. 2 teachers, 2 unarmed educators, the Sandy Hook massacre, 26 murdered. The first 2 to die was a principal and another educator who charged the killer. 2 women, unarmed. Who simply charged the killer and died. I tell I've got principal. I teach schools, school safety nationwide. I've got a certificate on my wall from Houston School Districts, the largest school district in America.
It is.
Listing me as student violence, stop teaching our kids to kill, unwavering dedication to our children. But folks, as a starter, one principal told me, give me something beside my keys in my hand when that killer comes in the door, kill my kids, because I will die protecting my children. We have a case here where early data tells us yesterday a football coach died protecting children with his bodies. Give those people something beside their keys in the hand. Start with the baseline of pepper spray. Teach the kids to throw books and to take decisive action. The ALERT program, the ALICE program, doing great things. There's things we can do right now, but you nailed it. The bottom line dynamic is not to take away rights, to give them more rights, to give them the right to arm themselves. Why isn't Florida doing it? Utah's doing it. Texas is doing it. Ohio's doing it. training and arming educators. There's something out there for us right now that we need to get it started.
When seconds count, the police are minutes away. Colonel Dave Grossman, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show today. I hope you will consider coming back, because this show is live every day for 2 full hours, and I love what you do. More people need to hear this information.
Hurrah. You're the Lone Ranger of the airwaves, my brother. Firing silver bullets of truth and justice. So keep rocking on, Doc, and we'll schedule it. We'll get back with you down the road. To you and all your magnificent, conservative, right-thinking, squared-away listeners in Texas, around the planet, keep your powder dry, believe in who you are, and strive to move us towards freedom. And the final line, Doc, get control of your local school boards. Get people in place who will allow armed educators, that will allow our children to be protected. There's never been a multiple homicide in a school when there was someone at the building that can shoot back. And so make it happen in your kid's school right now. Get control of the school boards. Grassroots movement, arming people from the ground up, and once you get it in, it never comes back out again. God bless, Doc. Stay safe. Stay hard.
Here, here. Thank you, Colonel Dave Grossman. Guys, go to Amazon, buy his books, get them, and order a few extras to share with your friends. And to the Bacon Master out there who approves of this message, thank you so much. And Don, good to see you in the chat room. Take it away, Frank. We're going to be right back.
You've just defended yourself with a gun. The police are called and you're potentially involved in a homicide, but it was self-defense. At this point, you are not in your right mind. No one ever is when they are in fear for their life and defend themselves. Anything you say can and will be used in a court of law, both civilly and criminally. Fortunately, you have selfdefensefund.com. We are the National Association for Legal Gun Defense, and we protect our members nationally in all 50 states, up to $1 million per incident per member. Let us do the talking for you and visit selfdefensefund.com. Any weapon, any state, anytime.
You're listening to the amazing Doc Green radio show, the rebellious voice of liberty. The Amazing Doc Green radio show airs Monday through Friday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time live on American Voice Radio Network nationally and on Bank vs. You Radio and Facebook and YouTube. In addition, the thought leadership content features current events, local, national, and global news with commentary and insight that has conservatives and liberals talking. The show rebroadcasts on alternative media platforms like RagingElePhantsRadio.com the following day from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Central. The multimedia platform is supported with a dynamic website at docgreen.me, national press releases, social media, produced videos and live events, and features articles by guest writers on a range of topics from human trafficking and finding the missing, self-defense, market changes, and commentary from Doc Green. Doc Green has been a radio personality for over 25 years and has featured guests on his shows like Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, former constitutional president Chuck Baldwin, prominent grassroots activists, other leading politicians and business leaders, and featured his love for classic music from his Discovery Music Vault collection of over 4,000 vinyl albums. The amazing Doc Green radio show is the rebellious voice of liberty, like cannons on the horizon. To schedule the Doc Green Show on your media platforms or to book guests, contact Andy Valadez at 713-560-3348 or email Andy@andyvaladez.com.